we probably would have done more than we did. But we kept thinking, okay, it's gone, you know? So recently, I've noticed the cats are really reacting to this guy. Hi, everybody. I hope you're doing great. I know it's been a little while, but I'll get better at this. I really will. But I wanted to share something with you that's been going on in our house and what we decided to do about it. So let me start from when we moved in to our townhouse. We closed on it about 5 years ago. And Chris had cleaned all of the bamboo floors by hand when we moved in because the house had been empty for a while and the people that moved out didn't do such a great job cleaning. You know, when you just want to do certain things yourself. So I was not there for that. I think I was at the apartment. We were sort of overlapping the move, like we closed, but we still had a few days on the lease. We closed on the house. So I think I was cleaning at the apartment while he was cleaning at the new house. And after I was done, I came over to the house and I don't know who it was. I think it was Chris, but something got kicked and went across the floor. And Chris was like, "What is that?" I mean, I just cleaned the floor on my hands and knees, you know, so there should not be anything here. So he picked it up and it was a little plastic ghost. If I can find a picture of it, I will send it to you. I did take a picture, but I cannot find it. I'm not exactly shocked about that. Some things you're not supposed to keep. But it looked like, I mean, it was like a cloudy but transparent little ghost with a little smile on its face. And it looked like it came off a piece of garland because it had like a little, almost like a little bottleneck at the top, like it was attached to something. So a little garland from Halloween, I guess, you know. But yeah, that was kind of weird. So we assumed we were getting a message that we were not alone and a little friendly ghost lived there with us or was going to. And he and I basically looked at each other and says, yeah, of course that would happen. I mean, we were coming from an apartment that actually was active. And I think that's because I'm a spooky person and Chris is also a spooky person. Although we tend to come from different sets of beliefs, and that doesn't mean that, you know, I mean, we're an odd couple for sure. I mean, even our age difference is a little odd, but, you know, opposites attract, right? So we put this little guy in a drawer somewhere and just went on with our lives here, right? So we moved in and we were there probably a couple months before we started noticing a little activity. And then we would just remind each other that, you know, well, they did show us that it was friendly. And eventually, though, I don't know, it was a little annoying. And once in a while, my hair stood up in the back of my neck and still does. But we ended up clearing the house. And we did that with, you know, the sage, the symbolism, sigils, things like that, that you would normally do to clear and protect your home. Then what happened was every couple of years, we have done another ritual because it would always come back. And I'm sure that if this had felt like more of an urgent matter, we probably would have done more than we did. But we kept thinking, okay, it's gone, you know? So recently, I've noticed the cats are really reacting to this guy. And I say guy, I felt sure, and I still do, that it's a male or presenting as male. And Gloria is clearly afraid of it. Last week, she was in the kitchen, though. She was hissing, and I never hear her hiss. And I thought, well, maybe she and Gomez were getting into a little tussle. So I get up from my chair, but I see Gomez is sitting on the couch. And I go into the kitchen, and she is cowered, like trying to look under the oven. And she's hissing, like, and then suddenly she darts up the stairs. So he must have called her out on it. And she stood at the top of the steps, just frozen. And Gomez actually started looking at her or in her direction. I feel like whatever this was in between them, and they were both staring it down. And I had stayed up a little late that night, maybe by about an hour. And even though when I'm in the living room by myself, I can feel when he's around. I have seen quick apparitions. I have felt the presence, heard noises in other rooms that were more than just the heat or the air kicking on. And this particular night last week, it really gave me the heebie-jeebies. And I ended up going to bed, not because it was late, but because I started getting uncomfortable. Even though I might have a habit of saying, go away, not right now, leave the cats alone. Because a lot of times I feel like this entity has played with the cats. And I feel comfortable enough, but not on this evening. So Chris and I talked about it. And I don't know if they lived there before we did, or if he's a walkthrough. I don't know. I think at times there have been more than one. But you know what? Things don't get knocked off the wall or anything like that scary. And we're kind of used to that stuff. So it's not, for us, we don't need to call anybody. I mean, we're the people that people call. So Chris and I talked about doing something a little different. He seemed to think that we've been cohabitating fairly well for a long time, but maybe things flared up a little bit because he's frustrated for some reason, maybe not with us, maybe, it could be a bazillion reasons. And we felt maybe we don't need to clear the house. Maybe we need to come to an understanding. I think he should pay rent, but there you go. I had helped another couple once who bought a home, and the woman who lived there before them was a widow, and it was sold by her children because she needed to go into a nursing home. But she'd been there many, many years, raised children in it. Her husband lived there too. And I remember them wanting to cohabitate with her. They just wanted her to stop being annoying with certain things she was doing. One of the things was that they would come down and get a coffee cup, and when they opened the cabinet, they saw all the coffee cups had been turned upside down, where they store them right side up. So those are the things that needed to happen, and they had a list. So I do think that they picked their battles after that, but they seem to be a happy family, and they know when she's around. I'm not really looking for that necessarily. I didn't really feel like this entity was looking for, some big release. I feel like he knows where he is, and if this is where he wants to be, that's fine. I didn't think he needed rescuing. So with that decision made, we decided, okay, I won't burn any sage. I won't burn a black candle. What I want to do is kind of cleanse the area of any negativity, but to do it in a more gentle way. And so I put some of my supplies away. Instead of sage, I burnt cedar, which is something you usually follow up with sage. So sage cleanses the area, gets rid of bad negativity. And honestly, you should do it even if you had a plumber come into your house that you didn't really feel good about. I mean, sometimes my cats will tell me when I need to sage, when someone's been in the house that, I mean, when Gomez runs to the sink, that is person that's not trustworthy if I find him in the bathroom in the sink. He does find his comfort there because he was a kitty when we first got him. And that's where he ended up being. That was his bathroom. Okay, I digress. In any case, I put away the big stuff, but usually, there's where I was. I did tell you I had a brain MRI not long ago, right? I'm low on iron, by the way, and that's the actual problem. So, what I usually do, not always, but when you want to get rid of bad mojo, you want to replace it with good mojo. Sometimes I just get rid of bad mojo, but I will do a little meditation or a little positivity prayer, that kind of thing. On a physical level, burning cedar, following that up from the sage to the cedar. Cedar tends to offer the positivity into your space. I used to have this very long braid of cedar over a doorway. I think that might have gone to the premature garage sale that I had, but whatever. In any case, I'm happy to be here, even if I don't have all my stuff. Still here. So that, and instead of burning a black candle, which you let burn all the way to get rid of negative energy in the area, and then you will follow it up with a white candle or a lighter color candle. I chose to not burn the black candle, but I did choose to burn a pink candle. Pink is for the heart chakra. It is about love, understanding, and acceptance, which is perfect in this situation. I'm sure if he wants to be rescued, he will tell us. I don't think that's the case, though. I also put a little bit of salt with the candle. It's black salt, which I think is more effective because black is also the color of protection. Like if you're feeling any kind of fear, then you might want a black stone. I have these hematite rings, like the ones that I threw in the water that time or got rid of, because, you just get another one or two. And I always feel protected then. And when it's time to let them go, I let them go. Happens. Usually they break, but in the case of that last story when we went camping, that that was a different situation. I picked that up somewhere. Anyway, everything is doing pretty good now so far, but he was definitely there the next day. Things didn't quiet down quite the way that they had in the past. Almost feel like he felt welcome. And we also decided he needs a little place to live. He doesn't need a full room for his body because he has no body. Something like this, that size, is symbolic. So we decided the perfect dwelling for him might be a little birdhouse. And I know that it's symbolic. Don't get me wrong, it's not going to be a haunted birdhouse, but it might be something of honor. And I have a couple in my online shopping carts. Haven't decided which one I want to do, or if I want to get a plain one and paint it myself, but we already have a little space on the shelf for it. I know that sounds silly. It sounds silly when I say it, but it's like putting a dish on your altar with candy, or the Buddha or Ganesh or whatever god or goddess or deity that you might be working with on a particular situation. Put little candy in front of the statue is also just symbolic, but it's not just symbolic. That's all I can say. Anyway, thought you might be interested in what's going on with me, at least in that realm. I am still doing readings if you happen to be in Lancaster County. And I also do email readings if you're not. I don't do mediumship through email readings, but I am happy to answer specific questions. 2 questions is $25, and my website is francinemilano.com. I will try really hard to keep posting here and more on a regular basis. My excuse du jour, my excuse du jour is actually the iron. I didn't know why I was really running low in my energy levels. But that seems to be the issue. So we're working it out. It's going to take a couple of months probably to bounce back from my brain fog, from my short-term memory issues, and my lack of energy. But I'll be back soon. You know I will. Until then, thanks for being here. Comment below. Let me know if you've ever experienced something like this, what you might have done about it. I would love to hear from you. Like, subscribe, and it costs nothing, and it really does help me grow my channel. And I appreciate that. Until next time, have a great day. Bye.